Hello, my dear viewers. Welcome to VMesh. I am Refia Wiquar. Hope you all are fine and doing well. Welcome to this session of ABC to Business Communication. If you still haven't watched our previous videos, then I would request you all to please go through them and then come back and attend this particular lecture. So let us begin today's class. Let us begin today's class with non-verbal communication. Now, non-verbal communication means anything which does not involve any kind of words or speech. We can say that non-verbal communication refers to wordless messages received through gestures, signs, body movements, facial expressions, tone of voice, color, time, space, and style of writing. Non-verbal communication may or may not accompany verbal communication. Many a times, verbal messages accompany non-verbal messages. And the verbal message and the non-verbal message together form a total meaning of the message communicated. In addition to the words uttered by the speaker, there is also something unsaid and implied. So, to fully understand the message, the listener should pay attention to body language and non-verbal signs. So let us discuss a few more things regarding non-verbal communication. Now, point number one is non-verbal communication occurs through any kind of instrumental body movements. When someone moves their hands to perform some function, it is an instrumental movement, not a symbolic clue. For example, wiping one's mouth when confronted by an authority figure communicates nervousness, and using the hand gesture to wave goodbye communicates courtesy and friendship. Then the next one which we have with us is non-verbal cues. They can be conscious or unconscious. They reveal the speaker's state of mind and inner feelings and emotions which may be real or affected. Trained actors and orators intentionally use gestures, facial expressions, body movements, and postures to create the intended impact on their audience. Effective writers use stylistic devices to convey hidden feelings and attitudes. However, in real life, most people betray their inner thoughts and feelings through unconscious signs. The speaker may not realize that he or she is conveying their feelings. Then the next point which we have is that interpretation of nonverbal communication differs from person to person. For example, if a listener maintains continuous eye contact, the speaker may take it as a sign of perfect attention and full acceptance. But to someone else, it could be a sign that the listener feels helpless or trapped. Then the next point which we have with us is same gestures may be interpreted differently in different circumstances. Let us consider one such example, P and Q. They are colleagues as well as friends. It is possible that on an official occasion, P pats Q's back, and this patting of back is taken as a friendly gesture. Now, just suppose that P is the chairperson of a promotion committee and Q is a prospective candidate for promotion. To create a misunderstanding between the two of them, someone tells Q that P was opposing your promotion. If in such a case P is going to pat Q's back, then this patting of back will not be taken in the same way as it was taken previously. Now, what exactly is happening? Gesture is same and situation is different. Circumstances have changed, but the gesture remains the same. Now, it is going to be interpreted in, a different way by this person Q. So, this is non-verbal communication. Let us discuss various ways and means through which non-verbal communication is reflected. Point number one which we have with us is kinesics. Now, kinesics means that when a message is being, communicated or it is being conveyed through any kind of non-verbal acts in the form of, let's say, body movements, such as gestures, winking, smiling, and appearance from the style of dressing and grooming, which sends out a message that supports or contradicts the verbal message. Kinesic communication is also known as body language. It transmits any kind of unstated feelings and attitudes and hidden intentions. Such kind of nonverbal signs offer cues to the receiver and help the receiver understand and correctly perceive the total meaning of the message. So many times these kinesics, they are also considered to be as leakage. And why is it considered to be as a leakage? Reason being, a successful receiver is able to observe and interpret what exactly is the hidden meaning behind the message which is being passed on. The second thing which we have with us is meta communication. Now, metacommunication is an implied meaning conveyed by the choice of words, tone of voice, fumbling, silence, or omission. We can say that it is something which is intentional, or it may be intentional as well. Alright, then just consider this example. You may say that try to reach the airport well on time. This remark offers a sound advice, but the sentence, without stating it explicitly, implies that the listener is not punctual or is habitually late. Similarly, when someone wishes another person best of luck, it generally conveys good wishes, but also implies a sense of anxiety or fear that something untoward may happen. So we can say that meta communication also occurs through the use of paralanguage. Paralanguage includes pitch, loudness of voice, and speech breakers such as uh, uh, mm, which shows hesitation or caution. Such as a normal or a low pitch of speaking which shows calm and control. A loud voice communicates displeasure or anger. Prolonged gaps, pauses, or silence, they are considered, to be a form of any kind of paralanguage. Alright, then point number 3 which we have with us is proxemics. Now, what is proxemics? Proxemics is, a combination of 3 points, which is physical setting, dress, and personal space. Now, physical setting, what does it mean? We can say that an executive's position of power may be gauged from the size and furnishings of his office. The quality of furniture, it adds on to the impression created by the setting of the room. In an office, the executive table is usually, placed a few steps away from the door. This compels basically the visitors or subordinates to walk up to him and feel his presence. We can say that space is one of the factors involved in indicating the proximity of a relationship. Then after this we have point number 2, which is dress. Clothes define the personality of an individual. It is one of the first things people notice, and a person's clothes, their texture, color, design, style, and stitching reveal their taste and aesthetic sense. And in business, it is important to pay attention to one's clothes, especially at an interview or presentation. While one should look impressive, it is important not to be overdressed. Instead of highly fashionable and trendy designs and styles of suits, business executives should favor elegant, conventional styles. Clothes should not, distract from the conversation. Then we are having point number 3, which is personal space. Now, what is personal space? Personal space between, two people who are having an interaction between them. It indicates their level of formality, informality, any kind of intimacy or distance between them. And business executives should observe the personal territory that each individual wishes to enjoy. Breaking into someone's personal territory is likely to, make him feel uncomfortable. When placed under such an intrusion, I should say that an important person is bound to show displeasure and signs of withdrawal from the interaction. So it is very important to, take care of the personal space of an individual. Point number 4 is gestures. When a person speaks, his hands move freely to indicate the meaning of his words. Such gestures are natural. They cannot be avoided. They give strength to the speaker's words. But gestures should be in terms of whether they have a positive or negative message. All the gestures are spontaneous, and we can learn to monitor and use positive gestures and minimize, if not avoid, the negative ones. Now, first of all, I'll be picking up positive gesture and then we'll be discussing negative gestures. Positive gestures are body signals that make the communicator look relaxed, confident, and polite. Positive listening gestures include leaning a little towards the other person, tilting the head, making eye contact, and gently nodding as a sign of agreement or understanding. Such gestures encourage the speaker to a great extent. Positive speaking gestures include keeping the hands open and avoiding clutching or folding them across the chest. All right. Then negative gestures means that it involves certain body movements, postures or gestures or nonverbal activities such as shaking, tapping one's feet, looking at the watch, and so on. Putting one's hand in the pocket is also a negative gesture. If you put one hand in your pocket, it usually suggests arrogance. If you put both, it might show nervousness. However, if you want to look confident and you don't want to look arrogant or nervous, thrust your hands in your pocket. Then keep the thumb out so that you do not fully insert your hands inside the pockets. After this point of gestures, let us begin point number 5, which is vocal cues. Now, what exactly are vocal cues? Let us first of all understand it. How you look is only one aspect of nonverbal skills. How you sound is equally important for establishing credibility. Vocal traits are based on how you say it, not what you say. So let us discuss the first point under vocal cues, which is intonation. Now, intonation means that how do you modulate your voice, your pitch, and how do you, inflex your voice, which all points are there that you stress, which all points are there which you do not stress. We should be, expressive while speaking. We should not sound like a robot because no one wishes to, listen to a robot and to a dull and bored sounding person. So we should, uplift our voice as and when required. The second point which we have with us is volume. Now, volume means that, your volume is determined by how loudly or how softly you speak. We should, remember that whenever we need to be, heard by a lot of people, then we need to be a bit loud, and we should, add a lot of interest in what we are saying. At the same time, if we are, communicating with a bunch of people, with a group of people, then our volume can be comparatively, low. Point number 3 is rate. Rate is the speed with which you speak. We should not be, boring the audience by, being overly slow or being overly fast while speaking, because many a times it is possible that we on our own may not be able to, judge ourselves. So it is better that we, take advice of our friends, of people who are known to us, to judge the rate with which we need to, speak. And we need to especially slow down if in case we are, interacting with people who are, having an unfamiliar accent. Because if we are not going to communicate in the right manner, at the right pace, then it is possible that we won't be able to communicate our thoughts and opinions in the right manner to all of them. Then the next one which we have with us is fillers. Now, what exactly do we mean by fillers? Fillers are, any kind of verbal pauses. Um, mm, you know, we should try and become a bit comfortable while pausing, because if we are not going to be, comfortable when we are going to use any kind of fillers, then the audience will, catch a hold of that particular thing, and the whole communication process may be distorted. So we should, not use a lot of fillers. We should try and be a bit moderate while using them, rather than not using them at all. Then the next point which we have with us is enunciation. Enunciation refers to how clearly you articulate your words. We should, try our level best to pronounce the words as clearly and crisply as possible, and we should try our level best not to mumble or to be a bit sloppy. We should not reduce the size of the words by saying, let's say, by using any kind of slangs. Wanna in place of want to, then gonna in place of going to. So we need to be wary of the situation. After this, we are having the last point, physical appearance and skill to present yourself. One should always remember that first impression is the most important and lasting impression. We should present ourselves in a positive and lasting impression. So we need to pay attention to a lot of things which, evolve around it. Let's say our, facial expressions, our appearance, it can be our body language, so on and so forth. So that's all for today. If you understood this lecture, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Take care until we meet next time.